Alright, so like I said, this part isn't that critical, and really the diameter or the new feature we're going to machine to isn't critical as far as its location. Like I said, I mean, we can shoot for the moon and miss by 100 miles and still be fine. It's plus or minus 100th thou on this diameter that we need to get it to start clearance, so I'm not too worried about it, but you know, I want to do my best. I don't want it looking sloppy. But I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time indicating this thing or anything either. So I'm going to use the edge finder quick and dirty method. So I got an edge finder in there, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and find this back edge, and then without moving the quill or the Z, I'm going to drive over here and hit this edge at the exact same X dimension, because this is a round part and it's drafted in the Z direction. So I have to make sure that when I'm over here, I touch in the exact same Z direction, and I touch in the exact, for the draft, in the exact same X direction for the roundness of the part. So it's no big deal. If you've never done this before, you just got to think about it. If you end up being in a different Z or a different X, you're going to miss that edge find. You're going to be off. So I'm going to 2.0. I'm going to touch, and it doesn't matter. I don't have to do the outside major diameter all the way over here. You know, I could, the closer I am to it, the better. But if I'm off a little, it's no big deal as long as I'm exactly the same off over here. So I'll show you what we're going to do. And maybe I'll lift you up and show you what I'm doing here on the DRO too. So we'll start with the Y. So I'm going to come down some distance, and whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and zero my Z. So my Z zeroed, and I'm going to zero my X, so that's where I'm picking, right? I'm just picking those locations. Turn the spindle on, come in, touch, don't lift, set my Y. I'm going to back away on the Y, drive around on the X, come over and get this back to 0 in the X. So I'm in the same location in the X axis. Alright. Now I'll come in. See that? And do my touch again. Okay. Again, don't lift at the moment. 1627. 1.627 divided by 2. 8135. I'm going to come off the Y, come over, and now I'm going to move to 8135 in the Y. Eight one three five, 8135. Now I'm exactly in the center in the Y direction. And again, this is going to be close. I mean, it's going to be within a thou or two. And this part, that's all that really matters. There's probably more variability part to part than that. If you want to be more accurate, you'd you know, come in here and indicate with a dial indicator or a test indicator this diameter on every part, if it was that critical. But this is not, like I said, we can be way off and be happy. So let me do the X again, or excuse me, do the X. We did the Y center, now we got to do the X center, and then we'll be 0, 0 will be the center of this part, which is what how I want to program it, or how I did program it. So let me do that real quick. I won't even narrate it, and I won't pick you up again. Let me just get that done. Almost messed up. You know, it's really tempting to lift the quill when you're edge finding, because that's how I always do it, right? You know, I don't want the edge finder sitting there on the part. But in this kind of instance, when you have the circle and the draft, you have no choice. You have to keep it at that point and drive around. There's just no way around it. Now it's done. So now I got my 0, 0 set. Let's just make sure it seems right. When you're doing a 2-point with an edge finder, you don't have to take off the radius of the edge finder like you do on a single edge, obviously, because you took it on one side and you took it on the other side, so it falls out there in the wash, if that makes any sense. So that's 0, 0, and that looks like the center of the part. This feature here that's here, this doesn't actually look like it's centered on the part, so I'm centering off of this diameter, not necessarily off this center feature. Alright, so now we got our 0, 0 set, and we'll go ahead, swap tools real quick. I'm going to make sure that program loaded correctly, and we'll get going again.